I'm walking down one of the main streets in Jayapura with a foreign journalist pass around my neck, and I don't think one of those has been issued in over a decade. To be honest, I'm more accustomed to creeping around here in secret, so it feels a little bizarre. But Indonesia says this place has changed. I've agreed to a condition or two, but otherwise I'm here to test that proposition, and we'll see how far I get. I'm here as a guest of Frans Albert Joku and Nick Messett.
No, that's not a military.
For decades, both of them were senior members of the outlawed independence movement.
Nothing much.
In a surprise move to their former comrades, they both returned from exile several years ago and since last year began working as advisors to the Politics and Security Ministry, spruiking Indonesia's message at various international forums. In that capacity, I met them a few months ago in a heated exchange at the Indonesian consulate in Sydney.
The world will not come to our aid, Mark. You know that. We have to do it ourselves from within.
They will never. This will really change, Mark.
But who can go there?
You can come with me.
Go there.
You can come with me on Monday.
Yeah. If you want to
Can
come with us on Monday.
SBS get you a ticket and come with me on Monday? I will take you to Papua.
Yeah. That sparring ultimately led, to my surprise, to a visa. Well, I don't know how you did it, but thank you.
If people like us, considered a threat to the state of Indonesia, can become citizens again, I don't think it's so difficult bringing Mark Davis into Indonesia.
Yeah.
As you can see, journalists are not banned, but you go through the correct channels.
Come on, Frans. This is... no one's been here in 10 years, so I'm very grateful.
No, I know.
That's not normal. This is not normal.
I mean, it's better to do it officially than to sneak in.
We're driving up to the border.
Over here.
So we're going to talk to these guys? It's a sensitive area, but like getting a visa, not too much of a problem for Joku and Messett.
Hormat.
Shalom.
Shalom. Pak Martin ya? Siap. Ya, kita lewat jalan ini. Kita kejar. Tadi malam saya minta Pak Kapolda sudah izin. Sudah. Ya, oke. Kita sama-sama. Ya, baik. Pak Eli, bantu kita ke sana ya. Nanti saya temani. Terima kasih Bapak.
That was the easiest roadblock I've ever faced in Indonesia. This is normally a thriving market that straddles the border with Papua New Guinea. Locals from villages on both sides of the border are allowed to meet here to trade. But a recent shootout between police and the Armed Independence Movement, the OPM, led Indonesia to shut the market.
Itu kita dengar tuh bunyi tembakan yang mereka keluarkan tuh banyak kali.
The banned West Papuan flag was raised here, the most common act of rebellion in the province, and a firefight broke out. One policeman injured and reportedly 3 Papuans killed.
Ini saya tidak bisa.
Bapak Kapolres bisa jawab.
Nanti itu semua Pak Kapolres yang menjawab.
Jelaskan yang ini kejadian waktu itu. Kerjanya kalau itu.
Buat through office belum nyumi through kamu apa?
In coming to this province, I made 2 specific pledges: that I wouldn't film or contact the armed resistance, and that I would fairly represent Indonesia's position.
Oh, you?
What I didn't agree to was being constantly followed and filmed by seen and unseen forces. It's still extremely tense here, but Frans Albert sticks to his word to show me the places I want to see.
Tembakan dari arah kiri sini, tembak ke sana.
They come down out of these mountains, huh?
Yeah.
It was across this very border that both Messett and a young Frans Albert fled with his family during a wave of violence and killings in 1969. Your father was severely beaten and his life was threatened. He had to leave.
Even though it happened nearly 5 decades ago, I'd rather not talk about it.
because it's painful, like any Papuan will tell you. I want to look ahead and using the experience we have had before to be able to take a position that will ensure the future well-being of my children, grandchildren and their children.
For decades, Franz Albert Joku was seen by many West Papuans as the future Foreign Affairs Minister in an independent nation.
Successive Australian governments have been uncomfortable with the West Papuan independence struggle for regional...
Living in Papua New Guinea, he returned in 2000 to attend the Papuan Presidium, the most significant West Papuan political meeting since Indonesia gained possession of the country in the 1960s. Chief Taze Allaway was elected leader, with Franz Albert constantly at his side as Foreign Affairs spokesperson. The Presidium was viewed by many as a serious threat to Indonesian rule. It led to an explosion of optimism in West Papua that political freedom, if not independence, was coming. But the golden days were short-lived. Chief Taze was murdered by Indonesian military officers, strangled and his body dumped by the road. The movement collapsed and Franz Albert, rumoured to be next on the list, fled to PNG.
You will not come to our aid. The United States will not sacrifice its interest in the world.
They were bitter years, and his resentment grew towards the nations that ignored his people's cause as much as it did towards Indonesia.
No one was interested. That's the truth.
That is correct.
That's the truth.
That is correct. Australia was not interested. The United Nations was also half-hearted about it in 1969. Why should I place my life and my future in the hands of such people? I rather deal with the only group of people that were interested in Papua is the Indonesian leaders.
Today, Franz Albert and Nick are meeting with the police, as they often do, to discuss security issues in the city and province.
He got shot in the recent...
Lieutenant Colonel Alfred Papare is the police chief for Jayapura City. He was shot in the leg at the recent conflict at the border.
As a former activist, I must clear my name. I cannot come here and hide in seclusion. I have to liaise with the authorities here.
For many Papuans, Franz Albert liaises a little too much with authorities here, but for him, Indonesia is now the only relevant power to effect change in Papua.
Only time can tell whether I am a collaborator. I came back because my people are here, my land is here. Why should I be classified as collaborator? This is my land. And I'm proud, whether I am under the Indonesian government or under the autonomous rule by Papuans ourselves, or whether it's independence, I must be here.
Off camera, Messet tells me that he still feels nervous coming into these headquarters. He was once tortured in this very building. It was while being beaten here with a gun barrel in his mouth that he decided to flee. And the place he escaped from was less than 100 metres down the road from the police station.
I remember, yeah, we just leave from this area here. It's now building. I was in the bush for 1 year with the OPM, and I have to come out because of my family. They tried to arrest them, so I have to come, and we went together to seek political asylum in Papua New Guinea.
Wow.
Messet spent most of the next 40 years in Sweden. Presumably, he never dreamt that he'd be back here exchanging civilities with the head of police for the entire province. Inspector General Tito Canavian trained with the AFP in Australia.
One most important issue in the world today.
Tito concedes that atrocities have occurred in Papua, but maintains that proper human rights are now accorded to all.
We have got a lot of standard operating procedure and also ethical code, not to violate human rights, So the police today is very much different from the police since before 1998, when the police is being part of the armed forces.
It's a view echoed by Indonesia's Foreign Minister, Marty Natalegawa.
It's very, very important to recognize that there is a sea change in Indonesia in terms of outlook on democracy, on human rights, and whenever human rights violation occur in Papua is an exception to the rule and it's an aberration. And
it's true that the attitude in Jakarta towards atrocities and abuses in Papua has changed. The question is, has that message got through to the police, military and intelligence forces on the ground?
This one?
My first attempt to slip away from my hosts and the security cordon around me doesn't go well.
Yo, ini kena ada yang ikut orang tuh. Hah? Terada, bukan Dora. Tentara yang ada ikut belakang itu.
I'm trying to escape to another town where more Papuans live, now that they've been so effectively squeezed out of Jayapura.
Is our friend still with us?
Yeah. Yeah, in big
A local contact is happy to give me a lift until he sees two motorbikes following our every turn.
Still there. So this guy would be from what, police or army?
No, he's army.
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 The men on the bikes are soldiers, more commonly in plain clothes now than uniform. They are the secret army that rules West Papua. People are terrified of them.
Okay, just a That's him?
Yeah, that's him. White helmet.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, it would be highly unlikely that a policeman would kill you in West Papua today, but these guys might.
So he'll be stay down there watching us until we go again. Yeah, he's watching us. He's watching us.
Yeah, he's watching.
It's too risky for my friend to remain with me, and he drops me in a nearby town where I find other means of transport. I make my way to a student recently bashed by police and now in hiding in fear of his life.
Pakai senjata, pukul senjata juga dong pukul, terus pakai tangan juga. Pokoknya barang-barang yang dong bawa.
Yali was organising a protest for 50 political prisoners who are locked up in Jayapura.
Senjata juga dong pukul.
When he and a friend approached the police to seek permission to cross a road, they were both seized and beaten in custody with staggering ferocity.
Terus non sempat ada strom juga, strom terus pakai dong bambu-bambu tuh, dan tusuk di kaki.
Smash your foot.
I put his case directly to the police chief.
They are the first ones stoning the police. Yeah? They are stoning the police, and you have got some police officer being injured.
Yeah.
Yes, being injured. Then of course they have to disperse them.
The account that I heard, and perhaps
it is a crime.
Perhaps I've heard
then
the wrong
police...
account. The account I heard was that the stoning didn't happen until they'd been arrested.
No. That is of course their defense, right?
According to Yali, there was no stoning until after they were arrested.
Injak-injak. Jadi teman-teman kita yang di belakang dong begitu lihat, mungkin dong panik. Mungkin dong panik, dong lari ke belakang, dong ambil batu, baru dong lempar ke polisi.
Whichever account is true, Yali maintains that the torture continued for more than 24 hours, and both he and his friend were hospitalised.
They are resisting to be captured, and the police must paralyze them. The police must paralyze them with the bare hands. In that case, the bare hands, without any weapons, right?
It's not an easy province or situation to police. Some officers have died in these typical confrontations, but more often than not, it's a Papuan. The cycle of demonstrations and severe police retaliations has become common in Papua. If protesters don't end up in hospital or a grave, they often end up here. I can't get in myself, but I managed to smuggle a camera inside Jayapura prison to get footage of the political prisoners locked up there. Prisoners like Philip Kama.
Ya, saya masuk di dalam penjara karena saya berjuang saya menyuarakan tentang hak bangsa Papua untuk merdeka sebab
Kama was jailed in 2004 for holding this rally, which included the flying of the banned West Papuan flag, a criminal offence of subversion. Kama was sentenced to 15 years. Dozens of others are imprisoned with him for similar offences and for expressing similar views.
Sudah banyak orang Papua dibunuh, dianiaya, dan itu disembunyikan oleh Indonesia selama ini. Perlakuannya sangat kejam dan sangat keji di kampung-kampung. Jadi kalau teman-teman di luar negeri terlambat, ini mungkin bangsa Papua akan punah.
Edison Waromi declared himself Prime Minister of West Papua after a vote at a rally in 2011. He was sent here the next day.
Selagi masih ada tahanan politik Papua Barat, itu berarti adalah pembungkaman demokrasi, itu adalah pelanggaran.
Fakoras Yaboizambat met the same fate for organising the same 2011 rally.
Bunyi tembakan langsung semua yang di lapangan itu panik dan ada yang lari dan tembak 3 orang.
Ya, Bapak ditahan karena berjuang untuk melepaskan Papua dari negara kesatuan Republik Indonesia.
Fakoras's daughter, Ola, has gathered a group of her father's friends who were arrested with him and have since been released.
Kami dibunuh, dibantai, disiksa, hak kekayaan kami dirampas.
I've taken measures to avoid being followed, but all of these people are taking a risk in coming to see me.
Teman-teman polisi, teman-teman petapa ditembak mati.
For them, it's a risk worth taking for the world to know what happened to them.
Sampai ada sebagai bukti, kami juga disiksa sampai ada bukti-bukti. Ini kenang-kenang Kongres biji mata keluar sampai ada bekas ini.
At a peaceful rally on a school sport field, Ola's father had summoned what he called the Third Papuan Congress, as troops gathered ominously outside.
There was a conference, illegal conference, so it can be dismissed.
When Fakoras declared that West Papua was an independent nation, the response was immediate. The police are mostly in uniform. The head kickers in plain clothes and bike helmets are mostly soldiers and military intel. To human rights groups, this response to a totally peaceful rally is a prime example of Indonesian brutality. To Indonesia, it's a prime example of restraint.
If they resist, then you can go for coercive methods. It is the methods being applied everywhere as police officers in the world, right?
Several officials point out to me that a decade or so ago this event could have turned into a massacre. As it was, 3 were shot dead on the spot, 3 died in hospital, there were 12 fractured skulls, 300 arrests. That is some improvement.
Papua is no exception. We also have people killed on Java. We also have people killed in Aceh.
This is an interesting point.
But this is Indonesia and not Australia.
That's true. It seems to me that Papua is more in a state of war than any other part of...
A lot of what you say is going on, and as far as I am concerned, and I say this publicly, they stand condemned because it is against humanity and justice. They stand condemned. And I say it publicly, including the government of Indonesia will see what I am saying.
We ban our officers to use bullet. Maximum if they are doing anarchic, rubber bullet. Maximum.
It's a positive sign that the police chief was confident enough to talk openly with me. But not so the governor, theoretically the most senior official in the province. Governor Lucas Anembe refused a formal interview request and appeared mortified when I approached him at a Jayapura hotel asking him to join a meeting to discuss current politics in Papua.
Indonesia is a nice country, the beautiful people in Indonesia. We have everything in Indonesia.
Nearby, a group of prominent Papuans are gathering. Each of them are brave enough or high profile enough to speak their minds, a rare commodity for Papuan civilians.
I often say human rights situation has actually improved. Otherwise, we would not be sitting here
discussing human rights with you, we will be stopped.
Yes, yes.
3 of the people here have appeared on leaked military hit lists in the past. Outspoken church leaders Socrates Yoman and Benny Gia.
In Papua, we know who is in control. It is military and police.
And former secretary of the Papuan Presidium, Taha Al-Hamid.
Yes.
Together with businesswoman Mary Yoweni, I ask each of them whether things have improved in West Papua or not.
Human rights abuses has been dramatically decreased.
But, I mean, people are still being beaten if they protest.
Well, if it happened in Australia that you break the law, you have to be punished too.
Well, you don't have your skull cracked.
No, but this is different in Australia, Mark. This is Indonesia, and then they have to follow that.
I'm church leader. I'm talking you what's reality happening in here.
Not getting better.
Yet, not getting better.
The differences in their perceptions of whether Indonesian attitudes to the province have changed soon become stark.
But they use this subversive law. They use this subversive law as a license to kill Papuans.
So
and that is evil. That is evil.
Well, I don't agree with that.
No. I'm telling.
Honestly, I'm different generation with all of the men sit here.
Yeah.
Mary is herself a sign of change, a rich Papuan woman. She came here today to support the Indonesian government and the opportunities it's given her.
To build up one organization.
But as the argument unfolds about human rights, she struggles to maintain her composure.
I don't want to be liar. I know I get blessing from God. I live here because God let me live, not because anybody. So something must be wrong. Something must be wrong.
The debate goes on, but for Taha Al-Hamid, the real problem is not here in Jayapura, where the grip has loosened.
I mean, do you feel like you're a free man? Is your tongue free to talk?
Biasa saja. Saya tidak perlu ditanya hari ini, saya di sini, saya di kota, tapi bagaimana dengan orang di kampung sana? Itu yang paling pokok, bukan saya, mereka.
It's in the remote mountain villages that the most horrific abuses have occurred and, by most accounts, are still occurring.
I've come here to call for immediate action.
Just 2 months ago, Vanuatu's Prime Minister addressed the United Nations about 4 videos he'd received from inside Papua.
Justice everywhere in the world.
Hey! Loh, kalung mo nggak dibuka. Buka itu kalung mo.
All of them were filmed in the last 4 years. All reveal atrocities at the hands of the army in search of rebels or their supposed supporters. All in such remote areas that the victims would have only a vague idea of what a city was, let alone what nationhood means.
Rekam dulu, Bang. Kamu yang rekam. Saya juga mau situ, Pak. Pengkhianat nih. Bangsa kita. Apalagi ini yang berdoa ini.
None of them far from being first contact regions, and this is their introduction to the world.
Hei, kau diam tidak? Saya potong nanti.
Some of it is too disgusting to broadcast.
But some of these reports are truly horrific. Do they concern you, and is there any action being taken by the government?
They concern us, but the difference now is that there is no culture of impunity, and where cases of human rights violation occur, the individuals concerned would be brought to justice, and that there is a legal process underway.
In this case, which involved the most extreme acts of torture, 3 soldiers were charged with insubordination. They were not dismissed. Tito's police force are undoubtedly under better restraint than the army, and yet still people are dying at their hands. A preacher in Benny Gia's church was recently shot and killed by the police, and he wants to show me the photos.
Ini masih Pinus.
This is the pastor.
The priest, the pastor, the reverend.
Pinus, yeah.
Epinus Tabina Magal was killed near the Freeport mine. The circumstances are murky as there is a tribal war going on there and the police are often in the middle of a wild battle.
To help.
Yeah, this is the one.
Benny's witness claims that the preacher was shot in cold blood while trying to photograph the body of another victim. It's a claim the police deny. But Benny has another photo which is more surprising to me.
This is
Just 2 days before came news of a police shooting in a remote location.
Yeah, I heard this. This is yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Yeah. And this one is he's dead.
He's dead.
Are they? They're not saying he's dead though.
Investigating officers swore to me that only rubber bullets were used to disperse a rowdy crowd, in keeping with current regulations.
And they said this is they use rubber bullets.
Rubber bullets. That's right. Rubber bullets.
And only light injuries ensued.
Because I spoke to the police chief on this one.
No one died.
That's what he said.
He said no one died.
He did say that, but
I think we live in different world, using different logics, different eyes, different kita pakai akal sehat yang beda. See?